Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Second down, 13. At the 45 of Baltimore. Brunell back in the pocket. Has a bit of time. Now being chased. Plants throws. He's looking downfield. He's got a receiver. And it is caught. Jimmy Smith at the 5. Into the end zone. Touchdown, Jacksonville. He beats Wayne Starks for 45 yards. Barks out for signals. Drops to throw. Has time. Fires the slant. Jimmy's got it this time. 35, 30. Middle of the field. 20. He's going to the 20-yard line. He's going to score. 10, 5. Jimmy Smith. Touchdown. And the Jaguars are right back in this ball game. Barks out the signals. Pressure coming. Steps up. Steps. Turns. Throws. He's got Jimmy. First down. 20. There he goes. 10, 5. Touchdown. Win. Jacksonville. Done under pressure. Steps to avoid. Turns and throws. He's got him in. Caught Jimmy inside the 40-yard line to the 37 and down at the 36.
Congratulations to Jimmy Smith. That is now his 800th career reception, and what a play to get it on.
This team winning right now, it helps bring so much attention to our franchise, what we did back in the day, like we were talking about, these Hall of Fame conversations. But when we're winning, we see the conversations pick up. So we have noticed that. So obviously, I'm pulling for my team to get to this Super Bowl.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Tom McManus, and
Hold my pocket!
Dylan Denmark.
Oh, will they ever have another one as good as Jimmy Smith again? Wear a Jaguars uniform at that position. Certainly a Hall of Fame caliber player. I talk about it with Fred Taylor whenever we get into Fred. It's there are a couple guys on that side of the ball in the history of the franchise that it's a mood lifter. Right? When you watch the highlights for Jimmy and Fred, unbelievable players. Hopefully both of them wind up in the Hall of Fame. And as we do on this show, we have rules. Like there's never a bad time to hear a highlight for Fred Taylor. I would add Jimmy Smith to that list as well. There's never a bad time to play a Jimmy Smith highlight here on Jaguars Today. Tony Smith, Tom McManus, Dylan Denmark here with you. Mike Dempsey, if you're watching on the YouTube, you're like, he's gone again. No, not quite. He's joining us.
What was that?
He's joining
No
us.
such luck. I'm here, Tommy.
Yeah,
I'm here. Hi.
I can almost see you.
Yeah.
Hi, Mike.
Swing on over to Tony's seat. You'll see me fine.
Yeah. We got the Zoom. Yeah, we got the Zoom going.
Technology thing.
Yeah, I know.
I'll send you a link. I'm sure you're zooming on your phone all the time.
Yeah, sure. I assume we're feeling even better today than we were yesterday, Demps.
No worse. Let's put it that way. That's good right now. Get me to next Wednesday, Tone. All the procedural stuff will be done, and then I think we'll be hopefully downhill from there. But I do, by the way, your question, and I know it was just like an offhand kind of question. I hope that the Jags have a receiver better than Jimmy Smith one day, right? I mean, we're entering into an era now where, at least numbers-wise, I think it's plausible. Maybe it'll be Brian Thomas. Maybe it'll be somebody in another 10 years from now that debuts, whatever. But, I mean, Jimmy's great, Tom. Nothing to take away from him. And maybe he does, 50 years, we look back and say, man, they had nothing to touch that guy. But, in today's the style of play in today's NFL and the quarterback you have right now, I don't think it's impossible to envison somebody challenging Jimmy's numbers here.
Records are made to be broken, right? So you could look at it that way. Yeah, you hope they'd look down the road or even on the current roster, we have the best quarterback of all time. We have the best wide receiver of all time.
Yeah.
We'll have the best running back of all time eventually, right? Those big play type playmakers that every team needs. So, yeah, man, who knows? But Jimmy, the guys I just did, Jimmy and Freddie, phenomenal, man. Just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, and we'll see. It's a little depressing every time we do any kind of questions talking about the history of some of these positions in Jacksonville because, on offense there's a handful of guys. You got Jimmy and Keenan, and you got Fred and Mojo, and then it's, all right, here's all the other guys.
Yeah.
The numbers aren't that. There's just nothing to separate, right, or to catch up with those guys, and they were awesome. Right, and there's no doubt that they were absolutely awesome, but there's not some big history of it, and that's explained by the whole middle, call it whatever, the middle period of this franchise. Early on, super successful, really bad for most of the years in between. Had that run from 05 to 07, the one run in 17, and that's been it.
Yeah.
Right? Since 1999, that's been it. That's been the success for the entire franchise. We're talking 25 years now. You can point to 3 seasons where they've been a playoff caliber football team. It's been a long time that the team just hasn't had any level of real success. It feels like that could turn around now with Peterson and Trevor in place. It does feel like it could turn around now, which speaks to the disappointment of 8-3 turning into the going home instead of going to the playoffs last year.
And it sounds like they're got some motivation from that, which is great.
Yeah.
Everything you're hearing out of Jaguars, minus the position coaches being interviewed. No, I'm just kidding. It's great. It's up tempo. I saw where Trevor said these OTAs are the most intense he's been on since he's been here, or been in since he's been here. I think that's great. They're talking about physicality. They're talking about being physical. I think that's being driven home, which makes me smile because I think every team needs that, and I think they've added physicality to their roster, especially up front. Things, look, and you got to keep it, or I do, because all around the league, teams feel pretty good about their teams right now. Look how fast we are. Look at all this speed. Look at this guy run around. And then, it gets, there's an equalizer when the pads come on and the regular season starts and all of that. But, no, everything so far, man. And look, you could break down both last 2 years. At the end of the day, they're 9-8. It's right above 500 ball, but 9-8 can get you in the playoffs. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? Getting into the playoffs. So I think big things are ahead. I do.
I think we all hope big things are ahead. The Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day today, kind of the other side of the question. We asked yesterday the same question, just with different names involved in the poll. The question, which of these players that are projected to be backups will have the most impactful season for the Jags in 2024? The 4 guys I put on the poll yesterday were all guys on defense. Today, 4 guys on the offensive side of the ball. So your options in the poll today will be Tank Bigsby, Devin Duvernay, Walker Little, Brenton Strange. Who do you expect to be the most impactful of those players? We can go over yesterday's poll question with you today, Tommy, as well.
Yeah.
As we wanted, I'm not trying to put in the too obvious guys, right? Like Tank feels about as close to obvious as it can be, but the offense is
most potential.
It's a little bit more difficult to find the backups that'll have big roles, right, on the offensive side of the football, barring some kind of injury somewhere. Right. So maybe that's the play with Walker Little, because he's not going to start as the left tackle. Right, for the football team.
And Cam does get hurt, or had, knock on wood, hopefully he doesn't. But
so to some degree, that's going to be the question, kind of like it was yesterday. And I get it. If somebody gets hurt, what does the role for this guy look like, and how much of an impact can he have? If that's the way you want to approach it, fine. I don't think anything about that's unfair.
Who were the defensive guys from yesterday, if I can ask?
The defensive guys from yesterday were, let's see.
I got it, Tone. It's Yasir Abdullah, Tom.
Okay.
Ventrell Miller, Chad Muma, and the rookie DeAndre Prince were your options yesterday. And all of them got the lowest vote getter got 20% of the vote. So that was a good one Tony put out there. Who would you have gone with out of that quartet?
I'm going to go with Miller, Ventrell Miller. I think he's got a lot of athletic ability, a lot of speed, and if he could stay healthy, he could find his way out there some. Especially if he can cover. You know what I mean? If you can, and maybe you use Devin rushing a little bit. Who knows? It gives you flexibility. I want to see that young man play. He obviously, we didn't see it last year, but you did see how fast that kid can move and get to the football when he was at Florida.
Right. You think of it, it didn't play a snap for this team, right? If you just go pop in his good Florida tape, and you go, would you like this guy for free to figure out how you could utilize him? You'd be like, damn right I'd like that guy. I mean, he was a really good player, and just a complete mystery what, if anything, they'll get out of him this year. But, almost 34% agree with you, Tom.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he's a top vote getter.
He's a great open field tackler, too. His speed and athleticism were really on point. So let's hope he can get back to them. We'll see.
Yeah.
See him out there.
And it speaks to just how kind of wide open that poll was yesterday, that you went with Miller.
Yep.
Tommy, I went with Muma.
Okay.
Dempsey went with Prince.
Okay.
Yep.
Right.
Interesting, yeah.
And Yasir Abdullah still got 20%.
Yeah.
I could see arguments for all three, really.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
We got a lot to hear from the offensive assistant coaches on the Jaguars staff today, and we'll do that throughout the rest of the program this morning. But do want to hear a couple of comments from Chris Richard here in the opening segment and get his reaction, the defensive backs coach, to some of the things that have happened here in Jacksonville over the course of this offseason. He was asked about just how he feels about the cornerback room in Jacksonville right now in general.
I'm going to share this about the whole of the unit in school and its staff. Everyone is working to make sure that each and every single person is at their best. And that's where the true value is. Like, it's going to be competitive, regardless of in the position, corner, nickel, and whoever the person is. And I think the guys have done a really good job of understanding what being a great teammate is, right? And that's it, again, collectively as a unit, right? Again, is if you go out there and you do everything to be your best, and I go out there and do everything to be my best, right? Then I will have strength, all right? But if I see you falter, all right, again, am I humble enough? Am I willing to help you grow, to be even better? And so, like, that's what this unit is. And that's the most important part of this unit thus far.
Tom, let me ask you, you've got a lot of young guys. You have a few vets in the secondary like Ronald Darby, right? And and Darnell Savage, coming in from Green Bay. But how difficult is that to create that environment where you do have a lot of young guys they're fighting for their careers, they're fighting for their spot, their playing time, but to foster an environment where I'm going to take time to help you and show you something that may ultimately put me on the bench if it makes you a better player, but it's for the good of the team. How tough is that to actually get that out of your players?
Well, I don't think it's that tough because, look, I remember when I was now I wasn't a threat to Sam Mills or Vaughn Johnson, but they were always very open to asking questions, figuring out how to do certain things. That takes guys that are very confident, that are very humble, that do put the team above, their individual. But it's going to be the veterans that show it, that show those rookies, and the young players how to do it and what it means to do that. Look, they are all fighting for their team, for a spot on the team. There's also a lot of room on that, the practice squad, right? So there's a lot of opportunity in the NFL to make a team, probably more so than ever. With those numbers. And look, we always say if it's not here, it could be somewhere else. In reality, if it's not here, it's probably not going to be somewhere else. So it is, in that kind of contested, environment, competing against it. But look, the real leaders will lead the way, and then the rest of the guys will come through. And there may be one or two that don't want to share things. You always get that. I mean, there's always a guy or two that's like, I'm not going to help you. We're like two rookies that are free agents. I don't know how much they're going to help each other, But the veterans should be able to help those young guys and show them the way.
Yeah, and it begs the question, Tommy, how often did it even come up where there was like a conflict of those kind of things in the locker room where, look, you guys know, you can tell when someone's withholding whatever it is that they're withholding for whatever myriad of like, I can see that he's ultra successful doing this thing, whatever that thing is, and you ask him, it's like, how are you doing this? Right? Like, just looking for a little bit of help. What exactly is the process here that you're going through to make this happen when they don't tell you? Everyone knows you're the guy who's not going to tell them how to help them.
Right. Or you just watch and learn and you mimik as best you can. You know what I mean? How to take away the inside position, how to use my feet, my hands, whatever. Or you ask, I mean, I could go back. Look, me and Brian Schwartz competed for the starting job for 2 or 3 years or 3 years. It was always very respectful. It was never, contested in, that kind of way. On the field, we both wanted to perform well. We both said good job when we made good plays. Hey, you got to be a man and take, what it is, right? You give your best. You hope for the best and let the chips fall where they may, right? So you can create that environment. I do think it comes from the type of player you bring in, right? When I talk about that, look, it's talent, scheme, and culture, which is huge that they fit. And then it comes down to the type of leadership you have inside that locker room. You can make it happen.
One more here from Chris Richard, who is asked about one of the guys. Look, I was really excited about Antonio Johnson when they drafted him and wound up getting him in the 5th round last year. It looks like he's going to be a starter somewhere in the secondary going into 2024, but he is such a flexible piece that who knows exactly what the role for a bunch of these guys is going to be. But Richard was asked about his thoughts on Antonio Johnson going into year 2 for him.
Yeah, so again, just made mention about a guy that that's athletic. He's got length, has the ability to play a multitude of positions, right? And he just really opens up our package as a defense. I think he's got a really good range. He's a smart player, and coachable, right? And then fixes issues quickly. So it's one thing to be coachable and fix problems when you're off the field, but you have to be able to be a problem solver on the field also. So he's been one of those problem solvers on the field. So it's been really cool to watch him grow.
It does feel like Johnson and Cisco are guys that have the potential to be around the football a ton, right? Like they do feel like they could be playmakers for this team potentially. Cisco, I keep bringing it up. He's got 7 picks in the last 2 years.
Oh yeah, no, he's great.
Right,
he can be even better, but he's good.
Now it's a contract year for him, so we'll see what that does as well for whatever's going to happen to lift his game.
I think Johnson too. He gives you flexibility. So if you want to go big nickel, say you're playing nickel and you're having trouble stopping the run, you got to be a little more physical. Maybe you throw him down there and move someone else, into the safety position. I want to see him blitz more. They did that a tiny bit last year, and he was very effective. But yeah, the minute he stepped on the field last year in camp, you're like, all right, this kid, you look at him. He's athletic, like the coach was saying, tall, long, just great athleticism. He should be one of your big time contributors on the back end.
Yeah, had 2 picks, a forced fumble, and a sack on 150 defensive snaps last year.
He's a ball player, man.
Didn't get to play all that much. Yeah, we'll flip it to the offensive side of the ball. Offensive line coach Phil Rauscher, who we heard one comment from yesterday. We'll hear a lot more from him as we continue along. Tony Smith, Mike Dempsey, Tommy McManus, and Dylan Denmark here with you on Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Even when I'm not with the fellas, I got Dandy on my mind because I'm going to be running around this weekend, getting out of the house finally, doing a few honeydews and whatnot, and I know I can swing into a gate station if I maybe forget my lunch or I'm just hungry for something quick and easy on the go. Dandy, the Anytime Deli line of sandwiches and subs, they're going to have your back, man. They're a local company, the Thompson family. They love the local sports scene. They support them in a big way. They support your bellies as well with just fantastic food made with high-quality ingredients, give you a fantastic variety, always delivered fresh, and always keeping the prices in the sweet zone as well. The hot roast beef and provolone, the Italian combo that melts in your mouth, the spicy buffalo chicken sandwich, or the big old juicy classic 100% beef cheeseburger. Just 4 of the options from Dandy that you'll find every single day, and dozens more out there. When you're driving around Duval, Dandy's the name to know. So when you're hungry, do what I do. Go out and make yours a Dandy, and do it today.
Jaguars Today Friday
is brought to you by
CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living from the JOI Studios at 1010XL, where the pros go. Wonder what Dan Hicken would be doing if he wasn't on 1010XL?
Let's go out with something really hot for these folks. A big hit out of 77.
Dan Hicken.
Star Wars.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Enjoy the thrill of the grill at John Smith Subs, with specialty subs like the Steak Bomb, the Gator, plus a full lineup of cold and hot deli subs, including the best Cuban and Duval. Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs on Hodges and JTB.
Beards Diamond's incredible 0% financing is back.
Shop the biggest inventory in North Florida
and get 0% financing store-wide for 5 years on anything and everything.
In the St. John's Town Center or beardsdiamonds.com.
Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When you need help with any plumbing or septic issue, just give us a call and relax. We'll send one of our first-round draft picks to get the job done right. DuckDuckRooter.com. That's DuckDuckRooter.com.
Hi, this is Earl Ron, president of New South Window. If you need new windows or doors for your home, heads up. This message is for you. New South is having a one-day factory sale this Saturday only in our factory showroom. 40% off high-performance award-winning windows, 40% off energy-efficient windows and patio doors, 40% off our factory direct products installed. Bring in your measurements for on-the-spot pricing or call today. One day only this Saturday from 9 till 4. Please visit us at newsouthwindow.com.
All right, get those boats ready. The Dailies Old School Kingfish Shootout presented by Yellowfin is coming soon to St. Augustine. It's June 8th. Just go to oldschoolkingfish.com. You can find out more. The grand prize is a Yellowfin bay boat. And with limited boundaries, no bait buying, and no checkout, it is seriously old school. That's why it's the Old School Kingfish Shootout. Here's how you do it. You go online, you sign up, and you become part of what is going to a terrific event. It's the Old School Kingfish Shootout. Go to oldschoolkingfish.com.
When you hear that phone ring on 1010XL, hello, we're bringing you another great guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
Where's the phone? Over there.
Listen for great phone interviews all day on the All-Pro Roofing phone line on 1010XL.
Thinning or balding hair? Introducing Scalp Micropigmentation now at IHRS. SMP is a procedure for men and women, looks like your own growing hair, and corrects thinning areas. SMP is perfect for men and women who shave their head and want a full head of hair look. Call IHRS now, 904-777-IHRS, 904-777-4477, or visit hairforme.com today.
Hey gang, a tougher housing market means it's crucial to hire the right agent to sell your home at maximum price. That's why I recommend Chad and Sandy Newman. Chad and Sandy have the plan and experience to sell your home fast and, most importantly for you, get maximum cash. Listen, problems lead to promises, lead to proof when you trust Chad and Sandy. Among those promises, Chad and Sandy, the only local real estate experts I trust and recommend, and this is why. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Problems that you think are problems are fixed with the promises of Chad and Sandy. Let's go now to some proof. Justin and Palatka, I was trapped in a mortgage with my ex-wife on a home that didn't sell for 184 days with another realtor. Finally, we hired Chad and Sandy, and the difference was instantaneous. We had multiple offers in 7 days and sold and closed in 16. So just do this, gang. Call Chad and Sandy today, 904-414-6200, or go to chadandsandy.com.
Kicking here with Zero Res. If you're like me, you like to sit on the sofa and recliners and watch a good game or show. You know, unwind down from the day. Sometimes TV time means food, drink, and a mess as well. That's why you need to have the Zero Res truck out and get that furniture looking great again. All of June, Zero Res offering 25% off all upholstery cleaning, 25% off a sectional, off a sofa, 25% off a love seat, 25% off your favorite recliner. Zero Res, man, you spell it forward, you spell it backwards. Zero Res, it's the right way to clean.
If you're tired of your fence looking like a bad hair day, well, it's time for a fence makeover with Superior Fence and Rail. They'll make your yard the talk of the town with a new fence installed by their expert team.
Your fence is fantastic.
My fence is giving all of my neighbors some serious pick and envy. Thanks, Superior Fence and Rail.
So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail for your fence installation project today.
SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
International soccer returns this summer. Don't miss Premier League clubs Wolves and West Ham in Jacksonville for the Stateside Cup, July 27th at Everbank Stadium. Tickets as low as $35 at statesidecup.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Mac in the Middle, Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
We're in pajamas right now. I mean, nobody knows how good an offensive line is right now. I mean, you got to go out there and hit something.
Tommy's favorite time of year when they're just out there in shorts running around.
That's right. That's right.
There's not a whole lot. Every time we bring up OTAs, there's only so much you can learn about the lines of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can see if the guys are in shape to some degree and how athletic that looks on the field right now, but that's about it because they're barely touching one.
Well, I think the real, now you could see DBs and receivers going at it. Like, that's legit. Like,
Absolutely.
that's real. The lineman can't bang without pads. There's just no way. So it's hard to tell, how physical they could be. But again, I like what I'm hearing, and we'll give them the benefit of the doubt for now, and hopefully they do turn into that kind of physical team that was lacking too much. Not all year last year, but too many times it was lacking. So, but yeah, look, I like Rosher. I do. I think he's a really good offensive line coach. The O-line, I know they were injured and they had this and that, but they took a step back last year. That we hope that this year they'll get back to 2 years ago, because in 2022 they actually performed very well. One of the top probably 5 or 7 O-lines or 10 in the league that year. So hopefully they can get back to some of that. But most O-lines coaches are gritty. They just he probably don't even want to be there. He's like, what I got to say anything for? I don't want to say anything.
Yeah, maybe I'll see you guys again in a month and a half. Do one more in the preseason, then I'll be done.
Yeah,
right?
You'll never talk to me again.
Right, like I don't need to talk to anybody about any of this, right? Like my business will be handled on the field with how well they do or don't do along the offensive line. And as you mentioned, Tommy, there were areas that were a problem for this football team along the line last year, especially short yardage was a big deal. 3rd and 1 was a problem for the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2023. That can't be a problem going into this year. Phil Rauscher was asked about the short yardage struggles that they had last season.
The perception is we're not good at it, and perception is normally reality. So let's get better at that. If we convert more 3rd and 1s, we're going to be a better football team. So we just need to, again, that goes into building an identity, not being a mixed bag of stuff, and deciding we're just going to pound somebody for 3 feet.
Got to do it. Right? I mean, like you said, they may even feel like they were capable of moving people, Tone, but if you don't get the results, then you're going to be judged as a bad short yardage team. And that's what it comes down to.
Yep.
It doesn't matter about your potential or your scheme or any of that. Are you getting those guys shoved back a yard when you have to get that yard, or you're picking that up? You look at this offensive line. If the offensive line was much better, I think we would have looked and maybe a little bit harder at Anton Harrison's rookie season. Like, how is he fitting in on a good offensive line? Because he generally wasn't a problem, it almost is like he didn't get as much credit. Like, let's focus on these other areas that are causing issues for us. And we don't have to worry about Anton that much. And because of that, maybe we didn't appreciate just how good he was as a rookie to come in and start right away. And that's something that Phil Rauscher certainly said he noticed.
I think Anton was extremely good. I think that, if you look at rookies across the board, and going off pass protection, he did a really good job. If you really look at like his matchups and who was going against him, he went against some of the best in the league, and he did a really fine job. Now, he took his lumps early, and that happens. You got to be really happy as an organization, as a coach, as a player, on how he responded as the year went on.
Chris Jones takes advantage of you less than a month into your career. Okay. This may be the best player at his position in the league and a really difficult guy for anybody to block. A rookie struggling with it's not a big surprise. I certainly think there's a level of talent that we expect out of Anton that at some point in the near future that won't be as big a problem.
No, not at all. I think he handled himself extremely well. And keep in mind, during the year, he was battling a shoulder injury that required surgery. So, that impingement had to be bothering him to a certain degree. So, look, he's everything you want out of a right tackle. He's big. He's athletic. He's got the temperament. Now that he's gone against all these heavyweights, he's going to feel so confident, especially if that shoulder's feeling good. Pain can really mess with you at times. Not necessarily while the adrenaline's going, you're out there on the field, but it can throughout the weeks, depending on how bad it hurts and how long you're injured. But that young man's going to only get better. And if he can rub off on the others, to play that way and they him, then we got something as an O-line. As far as 3rd and 1, I don't know. I'll wait to see it because I don't think they're built to just move people out of the way. I don't think they're that type. Morse, maybe. He's done it up in Buffalo a little bit, of course, but I want to see it to believe it, than saying they're just going to get it done.
And it's such a high leverage play. right, within a game, converting or not converting those short yardages, it's so high leverage because it's the difference between staying on the field or being kicked off the field, right? And you only have to, maybe if you have 4 of those situations in a game, the Jags are a team that were converting 1 of those last year, only converting 1 more this year. If you're 50-50 in those situations, it's hard to exactly know what the dividends being paid on just giving our quarterback another first down, right? At one point in a game, is this a scoring situation?
No, right.
Right?
No,
like, you just don't know when these things are coming up. So I don't think they have to get way better at it for it to have a big impact on the results within a game, but they need to be better than they were last year.
No, absolutely. And look, I think there's some truth to the fact, too. I don't know, before Kirk and Trevor got hurt in Cincinnati, were we worried about the offensive line? I mean, I know we talked about them from time to time. Sometimes they'd have great games. They had a great game against New Orleans. I mean, they did. They kept him clean all game long. He ran a lot, too, for his, to make things happen. But, like what prior to that, I mean, or after the injuries, it seemed to go a little bit south. I'm going to still stand. Look, they're a passing offense first, which sets up the run game. They're not a 3rd and 1 movie out of the way. I'd like to see them at 3rd and 4. Give them a little bit more room, a little more flexibility on what you can call. And I think that's how they're built, rather than just look. I don't think automatically Ezra and Brendan are just gonna move people out of the way.
Right. And 3rd and 4, right? Like, that makes some sense from the perspective of their 2 best pass catching options going into the season. You look at it and say, well, that's Kirk and Ingram.
Yeah.
And that's where they ought to eat.
Yeah.
Right? In that kind of situation is trying to control the middle of the field with those guys. Well, we'll see what it looks like with the new faces with Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas. Like, we'll see what that looks like on the outside for the football team. But it does feel like it should open up the middle of the field for a couple of guys that were already very prolific playing with the quarterback they're currently playing with.
I'll say this. If it is 3rd and 1, give me a fullback. I don't care if he's a tight end. I don't care if he's a defensive lineman. Give someone in front of your tailback to give him a chance, because single back, 3rd short yardage is easy to defend. All it takes is one guy to shoot a gap or one linebacker to jump over or whatever. So to me, I'd like to see that. Get some. Maybe it's Strange. Maybe he can be a lead blocker in those situations. Maybe he can fake blocking and go out for a pass in those situations, which are very hard to defend for linebackers. So I don't know. If they're going to line up single back, I hope they're 3rd and 4, not 3rd and 1.
And they were doing single back, lining up next to the quarterback in a shotgun.
Yeah, like
a lot on those short yardage situations last year. Let's get one more here from Rauscher in this segment. He was also, talking about Anton and how well he played last year. Followed that up saying that he thinks that Anton has the potential to be a great player in Jacksonville.
He has the potential of really being a really great tackle here for years to come. And I think that where we're going with the run game and what we're doing is going to benefit a guy like him. Where he can just put his hand in the ground, get in a 3-point stance, and go. I think that's going to be good for him. But I think Brandon coming back is going to help him, because the continuity there of those 2 guys playing next to each other and different things. And I think at the end of the day, he's got an opportunity to be really a foundational player for this organization.
Yeah, that's why you draft him in the first round.
Yeah.
And
he's a good one. He's a really good one.
His long-term position could be left tackle for the team. We'll see how that plays out after the 2024 season.
Yeah.
Not sure exactly what kind of options are going to be available and where they want to go with some of those things. But you draft him as a left tackle and play him at right tackle.
Yep.
His rookie year, and he's going to be the right tackle again in year 2. We'll see, because he's certainly the most stable of the linemen that they had last year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Sheriff, I think, gets knocked a whole lot, but you go back and you talk to people who were, grading the offensive line play, they were like, he played fine.
Yeah. I don't know. The eye test says different to me. He didn't play terrible. I don't want to paint that picture, but there were times. I mean, I remember seeing one time during the year that there was some grade, really high grade on him, and I went back and looked, and he whiffed a couple times. You're like, I don't know. I don't know about that grade. So the grades to me, I don't – look, I think he's I think he's going to be rejuvenated. I think Morse and him, because they're two long-term vets, they'll have a little bond right there, a little connection right there. Hey, look, we only got so many more left in the tank. Why don't we, really go out with a bang? Wouldn't that be great? That'll transfer over to Ezra, who's a veteran, not as long in the tooth as those guys, but a veteran who's been around. Of course, you got Cam, who wants to rip your head off, and if he's healthy, you can win with Cam Robinson at your left tackle. So, look, I think the O-line. Look, I think all of them. You hear Ingram talk, you hear Trev talk. Hopefully, last year humbled their ass because it needed to. It did. It did. They got too big for their britches, and then things went south. Hopefully that does, and that motivates you to know that, guess what? It's not an 11-game season. It's an 18-week season just to get into the tournament, and we got to be focused and ready and fired up and all that stuff, and knowing exactly what we're doing on every single play. That's how you get to the tournament. So, you can only learn from your mistakes, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to beat the dead horse. We all know what happened last year. So hopefully they've learned from them, and they allow that to never happen again.
Want to hear from wide receivers coach Chad Hall on the other side, but we also, Phil Rauscher had a couple of comments on Walker Little that we want to make sure that you get the opportunity to hear as well. He's one of the guys we included in the poll today as part of our poll question, guys that are projected to be backups for the football team that could have an impact for them this year. Your options: Tank Bigsby, Devin Duvernay, Walker Little, and Brenton Strange. We'll hear what Phil Rauscher had to say about Walker Little, and from wide receivers coach Chad Hall on the other side. Tony Smith, Mike Dempsey, Tom McManus, Dylan Denmark here with you on Jaguars Today here on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today Friday
is brought to you by
CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living from the JOI Studios at 1010XL, where the pros go. Get Florida Gators play-by-play baseball on 1010XL.
The Gators' magic streak continues in Clemson against the number 6 Tigers. Tomorrow at 2 and Sunday at 2:30 on 1010 a.m.
Lauren Brooks here from Mayport CNC Fisheries. At my house, we had a feast from Mayport CNC Fisheries with the freshest shrimp around, and it was unbelievable. They also have oysters, scallops, mahi, and so much more. Want to eat like a local? Head to the beach and visit my friends at Mayport CNC Fisheries.
Spring has sprung. What a great time to get your house ready forever. Stop paying for exterior paint that doesn't protect your home or business. Rhino Shield's beautiful durable coating never chip, crack, or peel. By the way, they back it up with a 25-year warranty. No mold, no mildew, no algae, all while saving you thousands compared to the cost of repainting it. Right now, 0% financing, up to 25% off. Never been easier to paint your home with Rhino Shield. Book your free estimate today at rhinoshieldjacks.com.
Did you know a metal roof from Prime Roofing will last 2 to 3 times longer than a shingle roof? If you want a better roof, think metal. Think Prime Roofing. Schedule your free estimate today at primeroofingfl.com. That's primeroofingfl.com.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Our returning champion, a basketball court sweat mopper from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Lewis Cramp.
Great to be back, Merv.
There's only one category left on the board, Lewis. People you can trust to repair your air conditioner. Your 10 seconds starts now.
Well, I'm pretty handy with tools around. So my Uncle Steve used to fix transmissions, so maybe he could... Okay, sorry. I guess just call the guys at Bueller?
That's right, Lewis. The highly trained technicians at Bueller Air and Plumbing have the tools and the experience to service any make and model of home air conditioner to make sure that you are cool.
You sure I can't just have a quick...
Yeah, we're done for today.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Make every day brighter, every laugh louder, and every moment memorable at the YMCA. More than just the gym, the Y is a community where you can dive into fun, fitness, family time, and make new friends all under one roof. With complimentary youth sports, childcare while you work out, summer camp savings, and more, the Y is the best value for families. Join the Y today and grow stronger together with amazing summer membership savings for a limited time. Find details at fcymca.org.
You can't go inside your home team's locker room, so Jags beat reporter Hayes Carline goes there for you.
Work on three, 1, 2, 3. Hayes Carline here. Find my blog at 1010xl.com.
Brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing, where quality and experience count.
New and pre-owned firearms are in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimber, Smith & Wesson, 6 Hour, Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Only at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free from credit cards, car loans, and personal loans. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value's way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. So call now, 904-999-1508, 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
Let's go!
Join us this Saturday, June 8th at 7 o'clock in the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena as your Sharks take on the Tulsa Oilers. Great seats are still available. Ask about our awesome family pack. 4 tickets, 4 food or merchandise vouchers, and a $25 Al's Pizza gift card. Get yours today. Call 904-621-0700 or visit jacksonsharks.com. The Shark Tank is having a luau. So break out your flip-flops and grass skirts and come join us. Check out the Polynesian dancers and learn the hula at Shark Fest, our pregame party. The first 1,000 fans will get a free lei. It's going to be a totally tubular night.
Jacksonville Sharks, Tulsa Oilers.
That's Saturday, June 8th, 7 o'clock. For tickets, call 904-621-0700 or visit jacksonsharks.com. That's 904-621-0700 or jacksharks.com. Let's go!
Let's go.
Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to come out and experience one of the most beautiful and unique golf courses in North Florida. Affordable golf, friendly service, and great times in the Hills Grill after play. Book your tee time, hiddenhillsgc.com.
How long would it take to spend the night in every hotel room in Vegas? The answer next.
With hurricane season now here, the only weather you need to be concerned about is whether your homeowner's insurance policy will cover you in the event of storm damage. Ask about Southern Oak Insurance today.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
It would take more than 400 years to spend the night in every hotel room in Vegas.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
Just trying to keep Dempsey engaged for the next hour and 15 minutes before
What?
vacation
I'm right
starts.
here.
I know.
I'm locked in. I'm locked in.
Locked in from the house. He's locked in.
But no, the St. Johns County studio.
Yeah, we got so many things to distract him. Just trying to keep him.
I'm right here. I may have spent the previous 6 or 7 minutes trying to find any update on Juan Soto's forearm, but that, other than that, I'm locked in.
We all have things that are more important than others.
That's right.
And Juan Soto's forearm, I can see why that would be a high priority on the list for the Yankees fan.
He'll be fine.
They're in St. John's. I'm sure he will be. Tony Smith, Mike Dempsey, Tom McManus, still in Denmark here with you. Wanted to hear a bit more from Phil Rauscher, the Jaguars offensive line coach, talking about a guy who we've been talking about now for 4 years. And what exactly is it going to look like long-term for Walker Little in Jacksonville or somewhere else? Phil Rauscher was asked about playing time going into this year for the left tackle, right tackle guard, the versatile player, I guess, in Walker Little.
Walker has played well, and Walker's a damn good football player. And, you sit there and you're in my seat and you say, well, I got 3 really good tackles. You know what I mean? And you sit there and you're in Walker's seat or Cam's seat or Anton's seat, and you're like, there's 3 really good tackles here. One of us isn't going to be able to play. But the reality is they're all going to play. At some point, somehow, some way, that is the reality of what the NFL is, and we're lucky for that.
It is good for the Jags to have that kind of depth, with Walker Littleton. But you guys, you take him in the second round like they did under the circumstances where he hadn't played a lot of football, right, leading up to it. And they felt like they were getting a guy that had he been healthy, you hadn't had all the COVID stuff messing up his timeline, might have been a first-round pick. And for him to never really grab that opportunity to take a starting job on this team, he can be a good player. I still got to believe it's a little bit of a disappointment when you take him with the 45th pick overall that he never won a starting job. But Phil Rauscher did follow up, Tony, but what we just heard by saying that ultimately people around the league have seen the tape and he'll get his reward down the line.
He's got good tape, whatever. And at the end of the day, I'm sure he'll be rewarded for what he's put on tape. It's not hard to coach Walker. Walker does exactly what you ask him to do, and he does it really, really well. And I think Walker understands the importance of this season to his personal life in terms of like where the contract and different things go.
Yeah, it's interesting with Walker, right? Like he's a guy that every year we've been talking about when's the opportunity going to come. And, you had the competition at right tackle a couple of years ago. He didn't win that. Yeah. You had the going into the season last year, can he put the stranglehold on that left tackle job with Cam and the suspension to start the season? The opportunity's right there for Walker Little to take that. Well, the team, every time the question gets asked from a team perspective, the answer comes back, Cam Robinson. Right? Like that's the answer the team continually gives to what they want to see the left tackle be in the short term for the football team. And now both the guys that could be the left tackle, if you don't include Anton, who we talked about in the last segment, are both going to be free agents after this season.
Yeah, and I like we all like Walker, right? I mean, he's a good guy. He's very athletic. Obviously, like you said, his document, he's never been able to really take over the job. The coach, look, what's he going to say? He's going to say he's good, which is fine. And I'm sure he is good at certain things at certain times. I thought it was interesting he said he'll get his reward somewhere, but he didn't say here. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Look, again, he's got all the tools. Can he put it all together to be a consistent, solid offensive lineman in the NFL?
Yeah, and Tom, I don't think that precludes them necessarily from saying it could be here. It's not really Phil Rauscher's place to say what the plan's going to be on the offensive line. Going forward, what kind of season does Cam have? Does he stay healthy? Does Javon Foster show you something? I mean, he was the first team All-SEC left tackle last year. Can he be a guy? And at a certain point with Josh Allen's contract, Trevor's contract, other ones that are going to be coming down the line, maybe Tyson Campbell and some other, you're going to have to find ways to be more economical with some of these positions. Yeah. And Cam Robinson's been making a lot of money at that spot. And I understand he's been their best option, but by what degree? And maybe we'll find out this year if Cam doesn't stay healthy. Maybe Walker Little will come in and play just as well, or maybe Foster will get that chance, Tom.
Yeah, you're right. And look, the reward to me, I wasn't necessarily thinking the money, of course, that's there, but I meant more like
who
starting.
Will sign him. Yeah.
Right? Like being the starting tackle. And maybe Foster, they feel, could be better than him. Who knows? We'll see as we go down the line. I just think, look, if there was a reward here, he would have it already. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He'd be the tackle. But, look, he's still important to the team. I like what he says. He's very coachable. We like him. We think he's got talent. And again, I think this, like you said, it's a big year for him. He's got to put it all together. If he can put it all together, that young man should be a very good offensive lineman in this league.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised at all if after this season, however much he's going to play here in Jacksonville for whatever reasons he might play, I wouldn't be surprised if someone signed him to some deal to give him a look as a starting left tackle next year.
Because you see him. You're sitting there going, I can make that guy into my starting left tackle.
Absolutely.
Give me 6'7", 330 that can move, or 320
right.
that
There's
can
only
move like
so
him.
many guys that can have that.
He's a freak athletically.
Right.
He is. His size and speed and athletic ability, He's got all that. So somebody will, they'll say, give me that molded clay. I'll make him into something.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. Chad Hall, the wide receivers coach for the Jaguars. We can all remember last year at this time all the hype around the wide receiver group here in Jacksonville, right? The addition of Calvin Ridley, just how good could this be? We would watch these rankings from across the league, like the wide receiver cores, and, the Jags group would be wherever they put it, and we're like, well, it could be a couple spots higher, right? And it didn't matter where they put him. They could put him at 8 on those lists, and we'd be like, they could be top 5. They put him at 6, and we'd be like, well, they might be 3 or 4. Like, we would have those kind of conversations about the wide receiver group last year. Chad Hall was asked about the ability of the group he's got in 2024 compared to the one that he had going into 2023.
I don't know. That's yet to be seen, It's too early to tell. Gabe hadn't even been on the field with us. It's been great to have Christian coming back from injury. Got some young guys stepping up. I think that's way too. We're just in shorts and jerseys right now. We haven't even put the pads on. So, getting in training camp, getting them all together out there on the field, we can actually see what we got.
Go on, Chad. Channel your inner Tom McManus.
I like it. A perfect answer.
We don't know, and we'll find out. And that's been a lot of this. But you probably do have an idea when you see the ability of a Brian Thomas Jr. You know what kind of potential he has, and we'll hear more about him specifically as we go along here. But last year, what did we hear a lot about? Were guys running the wrong routes, right? Guys were correcting each other out there. Was it Ridley? Was it more systemic than that? Did Parker Washington have some of these issues? Who else was involved in this? So Chad Hall was asked yesterday, basically, is this an offense that needs simplifying from what you did last year?
Yeah, we kind of wanted to see who we are and how can we be best offensively, and then focus on our strengths and get better and better and better at them. I think Press does a great job making the offense easy to learn, putting everything in families. But it's been great. I mean, we're just getting reps after reps after reps, putting people in different positions, and it's been great.
You can tell, these position coaches, when they get put to the microphone, they haven't done this a lot, right? Like, it is a different kind of situation for these guys. The coordinators have to do it every week now in the NFL. They didn't have to when you were playing, Tommy. No. The coach spoke.
Right. Head coach spoke. That was it.
Did he say anything there that anybody thought pertained really to simplifying the offense?
No.
He just basically, it's been great. Everything's been great.
Yeah.
It's been great.
Yeah.
Right.
You get into the coach speak things. It's like, I don't know. How do I answer this?
Yeah.
All right. Everything's good.
Well, and even, even the comment about Press putting us in positions, I don't know if I agree with that. On occasion he did.
Mm-hmm.
There were plays that worked that you'd never see again. There were routes that Ridley actually ran pretty damn well, and then they wouldn't go to those routes. I don't know. It remains to be seen, and I like what he's saying, but it didn't just seem like nobody held Ridley accountable, and I don't know why. I just don't understand why. You know what I mean? Like, if he's, which we all believe, and I believe, I remember seeing it early, like, he's forgetting, or he's not knowing what he's doing. He's not even running a route sometimes. He would just stand there. Remember that one pick, Trevor trying to get it to Ingram was a big play in a game. I forget who they played. He just stood there. He didn't even run a route. He's just, like, looking at everybody like, what in the hell am I? And never, like, sat his ass down. You know what I mean? I don't know. I would have liked to seen more accountability there. But that was then, and this is now. So, I agree with Chad. Let's see him when the pads come on, and let's, because look, Brian Thomas, great, right? He looks great. Of course he does. What happens when he goes over the middle and he gets drilled for the first time? I'm sure he got drilled in the SEC. I'm not saying he's never been hit before, but it might be a little different. I don't know. What if Trevor throws it a little high once, and, he's stretching out and someone cuts him in half, and he's like, I'm never going up for a high ball again. I don't know. You just never know, what's going to happen when it becomes real, because it is different. Look, 17 touchdowns in the SEC is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. but it's still not the NFL, and hopefully he does. Hopefully he can do all of it. He's a great all-around number one wide receiver that can take that quick slant and take it to the house, right? Can take that dig and get us 40 yards down the field because he bounces off the tackle or makes the guy miss, because the ball's on time, what have you. So, but you don't know that now.
Right.
You can't tell me that now. I have no idea. But, you're hedging your bets that he's going to be just fine based on what he did in college.
We'll hear what Coach Hall has to say about Brian Thomas Jr. as we continue on throughout the show today. A little bit later on, we'll let you hear from running backs coach Jerry Mack and about the group of guys that he has back there, again, including a player that we got in the poll today, asking you which player that is scheduled to be a backup looks projected to be a backup for the team right now. We'll have the most impactful season for the Jags in 2024. Your options: Tank Bigsby, Devin Duvernay, Walker Little, and Brenton Strange as we continue along on a Friday edition of Jaguars Today in XL.
Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Man, do you hear a lot about Awaken 180 on 1010XL. There's good reason for that. They are tremendously helpful in what they set out to do, which is help you lose weight and maintain that weight loss for a long, long time. I don't know how long I'm going to keep it going, but I know this. I dropped my weight and reached my goal with Awaken 180 last September, and I have not put that weight back on, and that is almost miraculous for me. I've been on that yo-yo before where I go up and down, up and down. I can lose weight, but I can't maintain it. At least I haven't been able to on my own. Awaken 180 stepped in with a great plan. They work with me. You've heard Hacker talk about it. He just came off a vacation, and they set him up and said, here's how you're going to have success, and you can kind of even go off the program a little bit, because the further you get into it, the more you can add to your menu, the more you can eat, the more different things. And, oh, by the way, you're only going to be wanting to eat good things by that point anyway. Call 844-346-1800 and get more information from Awaken 180 Weight Loss. That's 844-346-1800, or schedule a free online consultation at awaken180weightloss.com.
Jaguars Today Friday
is brought to you by
CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living from the JOI Studios at 1010XL, where the pros go. The team that loves the team you love.
They came together as a team.
1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
What makes a Honda certified pre-owned vehicle so special? 182-point inspection, 24/7 roadside assistance, first-year free oil changes, and a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty for carefree driving backed by American Honda. Visit your local Honda dealer today.
The hottest trend in casual dining has expanded in Jacksonville with its 5th location off 103rd. The Flame Broiler serves up protein-packed rice bowls. It's fast, healthy, and affordable. Order online at flamebroilerusa.com or visit any of our 5 locations. Flame Broiler, simply healthy.
All right, guys, be a true grill master with the Sausage Dudes sausage and upgrade that cookout. The Sausage Dudes are guys from Jacksonville who use their family recipes to make better sausage with the best cuts of pork, carefully sourced spices, and natural casings. And the Sausage Dudes are mission-minded, supporting the Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Florida. Try all 4 flavors because your cookout deserves better. Now available at all Publix stores in the frozen meat section. Head to Publix today and get your hands on the Sausage Dudes sausage.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
Get ready to swing into the hottest party this summer.
Join First Team North Florida at the Yardage June 13th for the Summer Soiree. We're bringing the spirit of the Pacific Islands to Ponte Vedra with a Hawaiian luau-themed event. Enjoy family-friendly fun, including Hawaiian food trucks, live music, craft cocktails, golf games, raffle prizes, and more. The First Tee Summer Soiree provides the perfect blend of golf, party, and philanthropy. All proceeds benefit the impactful programs of the First Tee. Visit firstteenorthflorida.org/summer soiree to secure your tickets today.
Your cooling system isn't working. Maybe somebody showed up with a portable electronic device. Then they discussed with you what your options are. Maybe they gave you an estimate that seems like an awful lot of money. What's the smart thing to do? When the situation merits a second opinion, get a Mike Merritt opinion. Yes, the Mike Merritt Comfort Team shows up with hand tools. We've never been able to fix an air conditioning problem with a tablet. Mike Merritt has been the trusted name for more than 30 years because there's never any hocus pocus. The Merritt team will walk you through the diagnostic steps up close and personal and show you exactly what you need. And the Mike Merritt price is likely to be far less because there's never an overtime charge, and the Merritt team doesn't work on commission. So remember, when it comes to the health of your cooling system, a second opinion can only help, and a Mike Merritt opinion can save you money. Florida license CACO 50384.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. The Jags wrapped up Week 3 of OTAs, and Jaguars defensive back coach Chris Richard feels that safety Antonio Johnson is a key asset to the defense, being able to play multiple positions across the field.
Yeah, so again, just made mention about a guy that, that's athletic, he's got length, and has the ability to play a multitude of positions, right? It really opens up our package as a defense. I think he's got really good range, and he's a smart player, and coachable, right? And then fixes issues quickly. You have to be able to be a problem solver on the field also. So he's been one of those problem solvers on the field, so it's been really cool to watch him play.
Swinging into baseball this weekend, the Gators are set to open the Super Regionals against number 3 Clemson. Game 1 is set for Saturday at 2 p.m. with Game 2 on Sunday at 2:30. You can hear Gator baseball live this weekend on 10:10 a.m. It's 88 degrees at 11 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Tom McManus.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
Tony Smith, Tom McManus, Mike Dempsey here with you on this Friday edition of Jaguars Today. We're going to get into around the league here in a little bit, but have you seen this story with the game in Brazil where they're warning the players about wearing green?
Really?
Because of the hooligans.
Really?
In Brazil.
Like gang members? Or what are you talking about?
It's a soccer thing.
Okay.
It's wherever they're at in Brazil for this game, the biggest rivals team colors are green.
Oh.
Right? And apparently these are like, you've heard the stories about hooligans and soccer over in England and these different places around the world. It's legit.
Big time, yeah. Big
in
time,
Brazil.
yeah.
So, of course, they chose Philadelphia and Green Bay.
Oh, jeez. You gotta be kidding me.
If this is even an issue,
it's
right?
crazy.
Like, I mean, why are we doing this if it's like that? Cristiano needs to regulate down there, man. He needs to get.
Yeah.
But I mean, seriously, isn't Brazil like the national team when you see them playing soccer? Aren't they green with some yellow accents? Isn't that the primary color of the entire nation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't wear when they're playing that stadium, though.
Yeah.
Is that right? Nigeria, yeah. I saw a TikTok. It said like when Nigeria played there for the World Cup, they didn't wear their green jersey. They wore the white ones.
Wow.
It's crazy.
White on white, man. I don't know. What are you going to go? By the way, these guys see those Minnesota all whites with the purple numerals?
Oh, yeah.
They look pretty clean.
Yeah, they're sharp.
I liked Irving's brown shoes last night. Those are cool looking.
Mm-hmm.
See those? Kyrie Irving's?
No.
Yeah, it was cool.
Tom, I was watching the Yankees win their 8th straight.
I believe it or not, I watched NBA a little bit last night. About two periods.
I did. Honestly, I flipped over. Celtics are up 18. I said, Regina's happy. I flipped right back. It was in the rain delay, and I flipped right back, and I waited out the rain delay. I wanted nothing to do with that.
Yeah, we'll see what becomes of the don't wear green in this general area while they have the two green teams minus the Jets in the league. there to play the game.
Yeah, that's what's smart.
Who's tougher, Philly fan or soccer hooligan?
Soccer
right?
Brazil hooligan. Yeah.
Traveling packs is what I would recommend.
We'll find out. Right. Meanwhile, the Green Bay fans, Tony, will be going around handing out bratwurst to people. I don't understand.
Yeah.
What's trying to be friendly.
Right.
Yeah.
If I was a Bears fan here in front of you at the tailgate, what would you do? I'd tell you to go to hell, and then I'd offer you a brat.
Yeah. That's right.
No doubt. Let's get back into Chad Hall a little bit, talking about the Jaguars' first-round pick this year, Brian Thomas Jr. He was asked about him quite a bit a couple of days ago. He was first asked about the OTAs, what he's seen from him thus far in the 3 weeks they've been out on the field.
Yeah, just being able to handle it mentally creates the opportunity. Now, whether he's, best outside, inside, or both, we're still figuring that out. Just giving him opportunities in every way we can. But again, we're able to do that because of his ability to retain all the information. So he's moved really fast in that aspect. And so now it's just, taking advantage of all the time we have on the field to put him in those positions to see what he can do for us.
And it's interesting, right? He did run out of the slot a good bit at LSU.
Yeah.
But we also know that Christian Kirk is going to be, that guy generally for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And if you're trying to maximize what Brian Thomas can be, and he's ultimately the guy you look at as your alpha, what if he does perform better out of the slot? I mean, you got to put the best combo out there, and I got to believe, Tom, he's going to be lining up on the outside. But it's interesting, over the course of his career here in Jacksonville, how versatile he might turn out to be.
Yeah, and that's what he gives, right? The flexibility. It's all about matchups, right? So just think I don't know, you've got, Kirk on the inside, him on the outside, but Kirk is off the ball. He can get outside, put him on number 2. Can you get Brian Thomas matchup one-on-one on the inside of the field? Put really pressure on, you know what I mean? So it just gives you flexibility to move him around. But I think the majority of the time he would line up as your ex-wide receiver, in that base personnel out to the left. But, yeah, look, man, slot, outside, right side, I could care less, man. Just get that kid the ball. Let's see what he can do with that speed.
All right, let's move ahead here. More thoughts on Brian Thomas from Chad Hall, Jaguars wide receiver coach. Just right now, again, we're in OTAs, no pads, all this. He's just worked with them for a little while, but just looking at the profile and the talent, how much does he think he can threaten NFL defenses right out of the gates?
He can. I mean, you'll see it. I mean, it's almost like he's got like that little Mike Vick syndrome where he's running, but he doesn't look like he's running fast, but he is moving. I just told him, Trevor, couple practices, we had a couple go balls thrown, and he either, caught it back shoulder, had to slow down a little bit, and I just told him, go tell Trevor to try to out-throw you. Let's see if we can do that. See if he can do that. But you see it in college. He chases everything down. He's fast.
Yeah. Interesting there. Trevor, get it out there, buddy.
Throw it earlier, Trev.
Yeah, something.
I don't know.
Something there. Also, along those kind of lines, Chad Hall was asked about Brian Thomas Jr.'s route running coming out of college.
I don't think they asked him to do too much. But, yeah, it's something we work on every day with him. Releases, route running, his break point mechanics. He can bend well for a bigger guy. It's just trying to put it all together. So we're working on that as we speak.
It's just exposing him to more things, basically, than what was at
Yeah, I mean, we're giving him more opportunities, but, also perfecting his craft. I think, at this level, it's just more intense of every part of every step he takes after the ball snap.
Yeah. Not everybody's asked to do everything in college that they're ultimately going to be asked to do in the NFL. The question is, does he have the ability to do it? I mean, it's pretty clear from his answer there. It wasn't a big, extensive route tree, and I think we've known that about Brian Thomas coming out of LSU. But one thing he did do exceptionally well, obviously, is put that speed to use and get deep. And will that be a skill that's reflected early in the Jaguars' game plan?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's transitioned over well. I mean, he can track the ball well. He sees the ball well downfield. He can chase it down. He has good body flexibility where he can turn for back shoulder. So I think that part of his game we knew we had. It's really developing the other part of his game, his intermediate route running, his releases. And again, he likes to work, he likes to learn, he likes to get better. So he's been fun to coach so far.
I think there's the potential for the wide receiver group to be better this year than it was last year. I think it would be hard to go into it right now, especially if you compare it to the way that we felt about it a year ago.
Yeah.
Right? With the addition of Calvin Ridley, the season Zay Jones had just come off of, the way that he was looking going through the offseason last year. Heck, you guys are out there at camp saying this may be the guy.
Yeah,
right?
He looked that good.
Right. In the Jaguars passing game going into 2023, that's how good Zay looked. The injuries obviously slowed him down. Well, he's gone. Calvin Ridley is gone.
Yep.
They've added Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas Jr., and they might have the potential to be better, right, in that room in 2024, but I think all of that is projection, especially compared to what we felt like they had going into last season.
I would say on the surface, Gabe upgrades Zay. I would say that.
Okay.
And then remains to be seen with Brian, but the hope is, he would upgrade Ridley. But, hey, Ridley gave you 8 touchdowns, so I'll take 8 touchdowns from a rookie.
Yeah, and
that'd be fantastic.
It could have been 12, but
Could
he
have
gave
been.
you 8.
No, you're right. You're right.
You know, I know someone had put up the video of Houston and the 10 plays that got them into the playoffs,
Oh, right.
And I saw Duval Doom reacting to it going, are you going to show the one where Calvin Ridley dropped the touchdown pass, right, early on in that first matchup here in Jacksonville?
Yep.
And who knows how the rest of that game goes. That was McManus's worst day as a Jaguar.
Yep.
Was that day here at home against Houston, and you combine that with Calvin had a touchdown, hit him in the hands.
Yeah.
You know, it was a perfect throw. It was a good route. Like, everything about that play was great, and there were a handful of times last year where those kind of things happened, and Calvin just let the ball hit the ground.
Yeah. I mean, that game, too, though, our defense got worked.
They did.
Like crazy. I mean, they didn't do anything. So, yeah. No, look, Brian Thomas, you don't have that kind of production in that kind of conference without having the tools. So, it'll be fun to watch him. Look, speed kills. We love speed. And I know what Chad's talking about. You got to hone in that craft of breaking off routes without gathering your feet, making that DB think you're going deep every single time. I will tell you this, because we stood there last year during training camp, Demps, a lot watching the wide receiver group work out. And one thing Chad's really good at are those attention to details. He'd the one drill I loved, like he'd have them run past where they had to be, gather themselves, come back, catch the ball. And look, that's without having to show it, right? You want to be able to do that without little or no movement, in guessing whether you're going to go deep or not. So the attention to details there, and at the end of the day, it's just going to be down to execution and from the quarterback, to the wideouts, and look, on paper they look good, so that's great. Everybody's kumbaya. It's fantastic. It's a great time of the year in the NFL.
Yeah, I try not to fall in love with any of the videos I see this time of year of anybody doing anything.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, well, they're running against air.
Yeah, it's air.
Right? Like, I know these guys are athletes. I know they are supreme athletes. That's why they're wearing the shirt. Right? It's because they are a supreme athlete, and you don't get drafted in the first round and have the kind of career that he did at LSU without being a top-of-the-line, that kind of specimen. Right? So nothing that he does on the field this time of year is going to make me go, ooh. Like, there's none of that until the pads come on and somebody's on the other side at least touching him.
Yeah.
Right? Like, until those kind of things are going on, I don't know how much you can learn. You can learn that you were wrong about some of the athleticism stuff, and you've been given no clue to that. Like, whatever athlete you thought you were bringing to Jacksonville, drafting him where you did, everything you've seen has reaffirmed that.
Well, yeah. And think about a year ago. We were slobbering over Ridley.
Absolutely.
We didn't know that he was going to forget plays.
How was anyone ever going to cover him?
Right. I mean, he was so fast. Look how fast he is. He's so fast. Look at him break out of his routes. It's incredible. Like, that's all you heard.
Yeah.
And he still gave you, a solid year, but it could have been a lot better, as we all know. What didn't we know then that we found out? That he does not run the right routes and he forgets plays.
Yeah.
We didn't know that then.
Yeah.
Because he looked good running around in air.
Yeah. And the routes were still great.
Yeah.
Like Calvin Ridley is still a supreme route runner.
Oh, without a doubt.
And that's the stat with the how many pass interferences he drew.
Mm-hmm.
It's guys would get in space with him, and he would start doing something, and they reserve themselves to, he got me. Right? I got to grab him. I don't have a choice. in this moment but to grab him. And he created those kind of situations every week.
Yep.
You know, he still has that in him. I hope he never creates one again. Now that he's a Tennessee Titan. I hope
not
it all,
against us anyway.
Right, hope it all crumbles away
Yep.
for Calvin Ridley going into the future. We'll take a look around the rest of the National Football League. And again, want to let you hear from Jaguars running back coach Jerry Mack and what he has to say about Travis Etienne and Take Bigsby and just what that room is going to look like as they get ready for the 2024 season. Tony Smith, Mike Dempsey, Tom McManus here with you on this Friday edition of Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today Friday
is brought to you by
CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living from the JOI Studios at 1010XL, where the pros go. Built for Jacksonville, by Jacksonville. 1010XL.
New ball till we die.
Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting!
Let's go! Join us this Saturday, June 8th at 7 o'clock in the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena as your Sharks take on the Tulsa Oilers. Great seats are still available. Ask about our awesome family package. 4 tickets, 4 food or merchandise vouchers, and a $25 Al's Pizza gift card. Get yours today. Call 904-621-0700 or visit jacksonsharks.com. Shark Tank is having a luau. So break out your flip-flops and grass skirts and come join us. Check out the Polynesian dancers and learn the hula at Shark Fest, our pregame party. The first 1,000 fans will get a free lay. It's going to be a totally tubular night.
Jacksonville Sharks, Tulsa Oilers.
That's Saturday, June 8th, 7 o'clock. For tickets, call 904-621-0700 or visit jacksonsharks.com. That's 904-621-0700 or jacksharks.com.
Let's go! Let's go!
Certainly facing challenging economic times. I can't speak for all of us, but for me, comforting to know my money is in good hands with ITP Partners. Ticket here for ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. I'll admit it, I don't understand a ton about the economy, higher interest rates, 401ks, but I do know as I move closer to retirement, I continue to watch my money grow. Thanks to Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, and Reed Wingate. Get in the game, guys. ITP Partners, always there to help. For more info, Chris at ITPPartners.com or call 904-312-9751.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. What's better than beer? Cold beer. Put your company logo on a custom koozie. Check them out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Ticket here with Zero Res. If you're like me, you like to sit on the sofa and recliners and watch a good game or show. You know, unwind down from the day. But sometimes TV time means food, drink, and a mess as well. That's why you need to have the Zero Res truck out and get that furniture looking great again. All of June, Zero Res offering 25% off all upholstery cleaning, 25% off a sectional, off a sofa, 25% off a love seat, 25% off your favorite recliner. Zero Res, man. You spell it forward, you spell it backwards. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
It's not training camp, but it is the start of a new season. Listen for 1010XL's coverage of organized team activities and minicamp.
Go, here we go.
Brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and summer fun. That means it can be anytime, whenever there's warm weather out, to go enjoy the off-roads with a Honda ride. Now, this is a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler.
That's right. Honda's got a great line of two-wheel products, and of course, their side-by-sides and ATVs, which are legendary and a ton of fun to get out with your family and friends.
I tell everybody, you can pretty much load up and go anywhere and find fun with one of those.
Absolutely.
Honda, with their beautiful off-road lineup, 2 wheels and 4 wheels. Check them out on the showroom floor, Atlantic near Regency, or online, cyclesofjacksonville.com.
The restaurant of the day is Flame Broiler. Try the happy hour special, a mini chicken bowl with a drink for just $6.45. Order online at flamebroilerusa.com or check out one of 5 locations across town. Flame Broiler, simply healthy.
Duck Duck Rooter is the only master septic contractor in Northeast Florida, and we want to help you protect your septic system. Think about this. What would happen to your car if you never change the oil? Septic systems are no different and should be pumped at least every 3 years. Lack of maintenance is the #1 reason for septic system failure. Call Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services today to schedule your pumping.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
Draft choices can make teams look brilliant or bad. Good teams spend time researching and doing the homework prior to pulling the trigger. Don't make a mistake selecting your custom home builder without seeing Preferred Builders first. They're a top pick on a decision that goes well beyond a standard career. Honest, dependable, and they have great stats. Make Preferred Builders your first-round pick in the custom home building draft this year. Call 751-0840 and pick Preferred Builders.
Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is the sports medicine leader in Northeast Florida. We're proud to be the official sports medicine provider for your hometown teams, including the Jaguars, Sharks, Axemen, and the Jumbo Shrimp. We have the most cutting-edge resources for sports medicine care, including Active Armor casting, Alter-G anti-gravity treadmills, and highly trained physicians and athletic trainers. JOI is truly where the pros go, and so should you.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous, don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's number 55.
Tom McManus.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
Tony Smith, Mike Dempsey, Tom McManus here with you. Jaguars Today. Want to hear a little bit from Jerry Mack, the Jaguars running backs coach. But before we get to any of that, let's take a look at the rest of the National Football League.
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Indianapolis Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson did not practice on Thursday due to a soreness in his throwing shoulder. Head coach Shane Steichen said that he's not too worried about it. Richardson missed a large chunk of last season due to a shoulder injury that required surgery and landed him on injured reserve. The Colts also had wide receiver Alec Pierce out of practice after his foot got stepped on in practice last week.
Ouch.
Yeah. The Adam Schefter said on his podcast yesterday that 3 teams, San Francisco, the New York Jets, and the Indianapolis Colts, had all reached out to the Minnesota Vikings about trading for wide receiver Justin Jefferson before he got the long-term deal done with the Vikings this week. The Chicago Bears held corner Kyler Gordon out of practice on Thursday due to a back soreness issue. Head coach Matt Eberflus said that it isn't considered to be serious, but they wanted to hold him out anyway. Detroit head coach Dan Campbell said that defensive tackle DJ Reader, who is recovering from a quad injury, may not be ready for the start of training camp. Seattle has signed quarterback PJ Walker. Tampa is signing wide receiver Sterling Shepard to a 1-year deal. Kansas City is bringing back Super Bowl hero wide receiver Mecole Hardman on a 1-year deal. The Chiefs had to cancel all team activities yesterday after defensive lineman B.J. Thompson suffered a seizure, went into cardiac arrest during a special teams meeting. He was in stable condition when in the hospital overnight, according to Tom Pelissero, who reported all that yesterday afternoon. But obviously a scary situation for all the guys in there. When he's 24 years old,
wow.
You know, look, all these guys are supreme athletes, and odds are the best shape of their life, you know, but something goes wrong, it goes wrong.
You never
Not
know.
much you can do to predict those kind of things and where they're going to surface. But obviously all the best to B.J. Thompson and his recovery. And didn't play much last year. He's just going into his second year there with the Kansas City Chiefs, but that's so much less important than the terror of that kind of thing having happened in front of you. I don't know. I know I've heard you guys that were on that team in '96 talk about some of the stuff you saw with injuries and things like that happened, right? At times on the field. What was, for you, maybe the scariest kind of off-field situation that you can remember, whether that be in practice or wherever it happened to have been? If anything
when
comes
the bouncer at Sloppy Joe's told me all the news stations were outside and me and John Daly were inside
I knew this
having
was
a good
coming.
time.
I knew this was going to be it.
That was
I knew this. Tom, have you been approached? Did you see Kevin James is going to play Daly in a biopic about his life?
No, I didn't.
You got to make a cameo.
I need to get in on that.
Right?
That was an epic night in Jacksonville.
It was huge. I just saw this in like the last week. Kevin James is going to play Daly. So
yeah, that was pretty scary. I was in front of Coach Coffin very early the next morning. Probably didn't look too good.
Coach, it's the off season.
Coach, it wasn't me. I'm telling you, it was all him. Yeah, but no, nothing medically like that. You know, just guys getting hurt. It's always, it's just you just feel bad when guys get hurt, especially when you know it's season ending. Like you tear your ACL, whatever, your Achilles. It's just awful. I remember Leon Brown, who's one of our great officers here in town. He was one of our running backs, and in a blitz drill, I fell on his leg, broke his ankle. I felt terrible about that. Those are parts of the game. You just they come. But when you're talking about that kind of thing, a seizure that's like, holy cow, that's heavy to watch that.
Yeah.
And see it firsthand.
No doubt.
Without question.
As we said, hopefully a quick recovery for him and a scary situation for all the guys that were there in Kansas City when it goes down. So hopefully that whole situation gets resolved quickly.
Yeah.
For everyone involved out there, and that it never happens here, right?
Yeah.
Like it's obviously not something you wish on anybody in any of these kind of situations. Want to hear from Jaguars running back coach Jerry Mack. We'll start with the second cut here, Pockets. When he was asked just his general thoughts on the running back room going into 2024.
I like the room. I think Travis is a high-end back. I think he's one of the top 5 backs in the league. He's got an opportunity to even get better, in my opinion, than what he is right now. Obviously, he has to continue to stay healthy, and the tank is going to be a big part of that. And I think he's strong. He's a powerful runner. We have to find ways to incorporate him more within the game plan this year. And I think we are, and we can. And I think he's ready to take that next step.
Man, I tell you, that's high praise for Travis Etienne right there, right? I mean, you start just naming backs. McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon, Bijan Robinson, Kyron Williams. I mean, it's easy to get to 10 and say where exactly does Etienne fit in there. But as a follow-up, Jerry Mack asked, why do you think Travis Etienne is a top 5 back in the NFL?
I just think when you look at his skill set of what he's able to do as far as in the pass receiving game, and also too what he's able to do in the run game. Now he has to continue to get better, running in between the tackles and get stronger and get more physical. But I do think a lot of that is based off of just staying healthy as well.
We talked about this a little bit on the show with the top 5 we had on Tuesday this week, Tommy, and we'll get your reaction to all this,
cool.
here in just a few minutes. But the top 5 that we had on Tuesday was first or second year guys outside of the first round picks. So remove the first round picks from consideration for this, but the guys that are going to be the most impactful for this football team, right, going into this season. And Tank was all over the place.
Yep.
With everybody's list. Like some people had him at number 1 among the first or second year guys. Virtually everyone had him on their list of 5 guys, but for instance, I had him at 4 on mine, and it's in part because of my opinion on what I thought he was going to be last year hasn't changed all that much from the perspective of I still think of Etienne the way that I thought about him going into last year. I think Etienne is a Pro Bowl caliber running back. I do. And if he gets that kind of exposure in the offense again, I think he can put up those kind of numbers again. Like, I'm not going to be surprised if Etienne's an 1,800-yard guy, right, between his rushing and receiving. I think he's capable of being that kind of guy in the Jaguars' offense. I think the Jaguars are making it more and more clear they don't necessarily want him to be that. Like, they want to limit his exposure to some degree. And going into last year, his rookie year, Tank Bigsby was supposed to be that. And it was what it was at the beginning of the season. So they had to change the plan. But it certainly feels like going into his second year that they're at least talking about using him the way we thought they were going to use him going into his rookie year.
Well, he has such big play capability, right? And you want Tank to just alleviate some of the pounding, so to speak. I think with Tank, it's all confidence for him. He's got the tools. He does. I thought, that last game, I know it was just a glimpse, but he had an off-tackle run. I think he went for about 9-10 yards. He set it up nice. The timing was there. And I think that's a big part of it when you're playing running back in Doug Peterson's offense. The timing of when you make that cut, when you hit that hole, when you turn on the gas, and when you try to take it for extra yards. That's all predicated on timing. So, hopefully he gets better at that. Look, they drafted him high. He needs to produce. He needs to be that back to alleviate some of the pounding on ETN. But the idea, I think, is let's keep ETN fresh as we can, and let's get him involved in the passing game, which I agree with. I'd send him out on routes if he could at the time on occasion. But, I think I wouldn't call him top 5 like Demps saying. I don't know what I'd call him. I just say that I really like him. I want to see him perform better. Last year, although he scored touchdowns, his yards per carry was terrible. That's not all his fault, but some of it is. And get him continued in that passing game. He is special out in the open field.
Continuing the conversation here about Tank Bigsby, Jerry Mack was asked about Tank and said that that's a player that needed a reset.
The true word for Tank is reset. And we talk about that a lot, whether it's from last year to this year, whether it's from play to play, whatever that may be. We talk a lot to Tank about resetting and focusing on the things that he can control. When you have a situation like him where he was the guy in high school, he was the rookie of the year or whatever you want to call freshman of the year in college, and then he comes into this situation and it doesn't go as smooth as the last probably 8 years of his life have been. There is a sense of we got to reset and we got to get better. And talking to him this offseason, you can tell he has that mindset now. He attacked every single day. He's focused on eliminating all the mistakes. He knows the ins and outs of the offense a lot better than he did the previous year. And we're excited about what his role can potentially be this year.
Yeah, look, take what you can. It can't be a lost year. You have to have learned something from your experience. But for the most part, it's got to be a start over, right? Take any lessons you learned, but almost put out of your mind how you performed last year and start fresh. And the one other guy in this backfield that we haven't talked a lot about from this standpoint, Tone, Keelan Robinson, we've talked a lot about how he's going to factor in the return game, but he is a running back by trade, obviously, and he can be some cheap labor added to the mix there. So Jerry Mack gave his thoughts on Robinson more just as a running back.
I do remember him from University of Alabama, coming out of high school and things like that. And then I do remember when he transferred to University of Texas. And, I think more than anything, the special teams aspect, I knew he was fast. I knew he was twitchy and he was quick. I watched a lot of his pro days and things like that, so I was able to see him a little bit on that side of it. As a runner, it's just tough. He played behind some really good backs at the University of Texas. And when he did that, he just didn't get a lot of opportunities. But out here on the field these last, month or so that we've had a chance to work with him, he's been really good. You can tell there's a savvy to running the football. He just needs some more opportunities.
Yeah, we'll see what that looks like for him. Gonna play special teams outside of just kick return, based on what we heard Coach Farwell say earlier this week. So they're looking at different ways to use him in different spots. We'll see what he can add to just in the backfield. Look, the speed's there.
Yeah.
We'll see what kind of role he can earn for himself there. But he's the fourth running back right now at best going into the season, and I don't know how much room there is to really pick up on that, given the other two guys behind ETN and in front of him.
I mean, look, what else are they going to say? They're happy. They look good so far. They're happy they're here. They're looking forward to seeing training camp and see what they can do. Who's gonna make this team better? Can Keelan Robinson get on the field as a back? Maybe he can. Maybe his speed is just so unbelievable, and quickness and explosive. You just got to find a way to get him out there. Who knows? You know what I mean? We're going to find out. Does Tank settle down? Does he? Does he use all of his tools and everything that he could bring to the table and become a very good, dependable running back?
Yeah.
We're going to find out. What about Brenton Strange? He's in your poll. I'm expecting big things out of Brenton Strange.
And the running back position is the one that you can circle as you can get some kind of impact from a player anywhere, right? It doesn't have to be the first round. It doesn't have to be the fifth round.
Right.
It can be undrafted. We saw that with James Robinson. And so if you get into a situation in the middle of this season where a couple of guys get hurt and we have to go find and pick up a guy and get him 15 carries in a week, it's not ideal, but odds are you can still run your offense to some degree, even if you're in that dire a situation. Keelan, he is a draft pick.
Yeah.
We'll see what it looks like for him because he does have that enticing speed. The speed is a real thing for Keelan Robinson and whatever he's going to add to the offense.
That's one of the first things that can get you on the field is speed. You know what I mean? Speed and quickness and athleticism will get you a shot on the field. So, look, they grabbed him, in the 6th round? It's a good insurance pick. And get him in the return game, and anything he gives you at the running back position is a total bonus.
Yep. Tommy will throw the questions from earlier this week at you before we get out of here on the other side, as well as react to our question of the day today, brought to you by Chad and Sandy Real Estate. Which of these players that are projected to be backups will have the most impactful season for the Jags in 2024? Tank Bigsby, Devin Duvernay, Walker Little, Brenton Strange. We'll put a bow on this Friday edition of Jaguars Today on the other side here on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today Friday
is brought to you by
CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living from the JOI Studios at 1010XL, where the pros go. You talk a good game.
It lives up to the hype, plus.
And so do we. 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Enjoy the thrill of the grill at John Smith Subs with specialty subs like the Steak Bomb, the Gator, plus a full lineup of cold and hot deli subs, including the best Cuban and Duval. Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs on Hodges and JTB.
Hold on tight because All Pro Roofing is unleashing some electrifying news. Brace yourselves for instant excitement. Instant Roof Quotes are here. Simply surf over to their website and hit the Instant Roof Quote tab. Boom! That's your ticket to a lightning-fast estimate. Head over to allproroofingllc.com. Click that Instant Roof Quote tab. What are you waiting for? Click on the Instant Roof Quote tab today at allproroofingllc.com.
License number CCC 1327056.
CDC 060138.
Are you tired of living with constant pain from torn ligaments or nagging tendinitis and bothersome joint pain? Say goodbye to endless medications and invasive surgeries. Go BioTarget Regenerative Treatment is available only at injury care centers. Their innovative approach helps you recover faster and get back to doing what you love without drugs or surgery. Don't just treat the symptoms, target the root cause with BioTarget. Visit GoBioTarget.com to learn more and schedule your appointment today.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cashback you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. Basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Imagine driving a late model Corvette, BMW, Mercedes, Lexus, Honda, Chevy, Ford, and more, all at a fraction of the original sticker price. Visit Vaughn Motor Group's indoor showroom and browse a great selection of dream cars that are inspected with warranties. Before you make your next auto purchase, check out Vaughn Motor Group on San Jose Boulevard or at vaughnmotorgroup.com for a complete inventory listing. If you can dream it, you can drive it at Vaughn Motor Group.
Add an ace to your Tuesday morning.
The third ace in 4 days.
Brunch with a tour.
Tour news, tips, and inside info.
Brought to you by Clearwater Irrigation and Art of Natural Stone.
8:30 Tuesday morning on 1010XL.
Hey, I'm not going to pretend I know the specific problems you might be facing when it comes to the prospect of selling your home. Maybe you need more space for your office or a growing family. Perhaps you're worried about selling for less money with a low-ball, out-of-state, instant offer. It's a tougher market. It means it's crucial to hire the right agents to sell your home and maximize your price, and that's why I'm recommending Chad and Sandy Newman, chadandsandy.com. They have the plan and experience to get your home sold fast and get it sold for maximum cash. In fact, Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Can you have any more comfort and security than that? Take Tanya in Palencia. I needed to sell my condo fast. I bought a new construction home thinking I had plenty of time to sell. But I listed with another realtor and I got no showings and no offers. I ended up paying 2 mortgages. I then hired Chad and Sandy. I got offers in days and closed in under 30. Go to ChadAndSandy.com and take advantage of ChadAndSandy.com.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
June is Men's Health Month. I'm going to Ackerman Cancer Center this week for a total body MRI scan. Since the scan covers the bladder, kidneys, and prostate, the most common cancer areas for men. Be proactive with your health this month. Call Ackerman Cancer Center and learn more about total body MRI.
Your Jaguars game day, your way. Whether you want to see a division rival like the Titans, an NFC North opponent like the Packers, or a mix, deciding on your favorite matchups has never been easier with Bundle at the Bank.
Touchdown, Travis Etienne!
Get tickets to 3 or more games starting at just $58 per game. It's as easy as pick, pay, and play. But seats are selling fast, so visit Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. You're Mackin' with Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
One more, Mike. It's just one more. And then you're the vacation guy.
Come on, man. I'm ready to go. Let's go. Can we do another hour? Do we get another hour today?
No.
All right.
No, we do not. I wouldn't force you through another hour today of all days. Tony Smith, Mike Dempsey, Tom McManus, Dylan Denmark here with you as we are about 15 minutes away from saying goodbye to another week here on Jaguars Today. A week now into June. We're about 6 weeks away, 7 weeks away from training camp being here for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's, this offseason has felt pretty short to me.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, like last offseason did, I don't know. I think that's mostly because the team isn't objectively bad, right? So it makes the offseason, I think, go a little bit quicker when we're not spending 2.5 months of the season talking about the draft pick, right? Like, we didn't talk about it at all till the season ended, and we got to react to however it ended and kind of decompress from that last end of the season and the way it went. We've had too many years around here where we're approaching Thanksgiving and saying now's when we can start really thinking about the draft and what they're going to do with the 7th pick. Like, it's been too many years of that. In the last couple of years, they've offered us some relief from that, Demps. Thank goodness. And hopefully they do that again here in 2024.
We're not going to talk about it until they're eliminated, so let's hope we're not talking about it until after the Super Bowl, honestly. Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, they're just in a more competitive spot now than they've been for most of the time we've done this program. Not necessarily going to have the best year 2017 still the standard in that window, but I think they got a lot of pieces in place. Now, again, everybody, Tom, you hear it, you got to have to see it when the pads come on, right?
Yep.
So everybody's optimistic about all the new pieces this time of year and all the internal improvement that's coming, but, there's reasons for optimism. Doesn't mean they'll all pan out.
Yeah.
Along those lines, Tommy, our question of the day on Monday.
Okay.
Let's take you through the week. On Monday, we asked, what will it take for you to consider the 2024 season a success for the Jacksonville Jaguars? Your options in the poll: win the division, win at least one playoff game, get to the Super Bowl, win it all.
I would say, win the division gets you in the playoffs, so I'll take that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of where
– get me in the playoffs.
Yeah. Dempsey went with the win a playoff game, and it did come down in my mind to kind of that discrepancy because I did think, like, if you just ask me without it being a poll, right, what is a successful season? A playoff team, right, would be successful. Those are obviously – you win a playoff game or win the division, you're a playoff team. right?
Yeah, playoff team.
You know, as you said on Monday when we were talking about it, Mike, that doesn't have to be enough, right? Just winning the division, given that they did win the division and win the wild card round game a couple of years ago. So you don't have to settle for that. I think the win at least one playoff game makes all kinds of sense. You know,
I
from
think
that
they got that kind of talent.
Yeah.
You know?
They absolutely do.
Let's not settle.
The Tuesday top 5 this week, Tommy, which 5 outside of the first round picks, which 5 rookies or second-year players will have the biggest impact for the Jags in 2024? I mentioned to you that Tank Bigsby was in virtually everyone's list among the 5. Right. The other 3 players that were on everyone's list among the 5, in whatever order you want to put them in, Tank Bigsby, Antonio Johnson, Jarian Jones, Cam Little, were the guys that basically everyone mentioned. If you were just putting those 4 guys in order for you as far as the impact that you expect them to have in 2024, how would you do it?
I think Jarian Jones would be number 1, at least from what I'm hearing so far. And he sounds like he's the kind of build that Ryan Nielsen likes as a corner. So I'm going to go with him.
Okay.
Yeah, he would be number 1. I mean, Tank's just got to, you know, your high draft pick. You got to work out. I'd take him too. Mm-hmm. Who are my others again?
Antonio Johnson and Cam Little.
Ooh. Well, Cam, you know, he's better be my kicker. If I drafted him, and I would throw Antonio Johnson third. I mean, look, he could be that sleeper gem that you found last year, you know, later in the draft. So, expecting big things out of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had Cam Little 2 and 3. I think Mike and I
had him
did.
at 1.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the high leverage situations for Cam Little are easy to circle.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're going to win or lose this game on this play for the kicker. And so that's obviously big impact, right? That's harder to do with. Antonio Johnson may have a lot of high leverage plays, but it's hard to know exactly what that's going to look like going into the season. The Wednesday question, and Dempsey can chime in on this one as well. He wasn't in with us on Wednesday. Trevor Lawrence will be a top blank quarterback in the league after the 2024 season. Your options in the poll were top 5, 6 to 9, 10 to 15, or 16 or lower. Trevor Lawrence will be a top blank quarterback in the league after the upcoming season.
I'm going to go 6 to 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I went with too. And it's a little bit of wish casting. Like I need him to be that, right? I need him to be in that 7, 8, 9 range. It'd be great if he's better, but I feel like we're just trying to put him in this category where we're going to feel this is what it's going to make us feel good about Trevor Lawrence if we consider him a top 6 to 9 quarterback after the season. Because truly, if he's top 10 to 15 and you're paying him $50+ million,
oh, right.
Now, granted, Tom, I don't know if Jared Goff's a top 10 quarterback and he's getting $50+ million. They're not all top 10 quarterbacks that are getting the big money. So, but yeah, I'm with you. That was nearly got 50%. The 6 to 9.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's 10 or 11. But guess what? If they're in the playoffs, I don't really care.
Amen to that, right? If they're in the playoffs, he wins a couple of playoff games. Yeah. The regular season stats are what they are. Right. You know, are they good enough to get you there? And what can you do when you get there?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And I do think, look, if they're a playoff team, odds are that Trevor Lawrence played like a top 6 to 8 quarterback in the league.
I think he's going to have to.
Right. Like that certainly feels like a real possibility. We went over your answer to yesterday's question of the day about which of these backup players is going to have the biggest impact for him in 2024.
Yep.
You went with Ventrell Miller today. We're asking the same question, just on the other side of the ball. The Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day today, asking which of these players that are projected to be backups will have the most impactful season for the Jags in 2024. Your options: Tank Bigsby, Devin Duvernay, Walker Little, Brenton Strange. I think we have some idea of what an impactful season for Tank Bigsby and, to a large degree, Devin Duvernay would look like.
Yep.
Right? Because we know Duvernay's going to be the primary return man, that he's going to be the 4th or 5th wide receiver for the team too. So whatever you expect out of that kind of range of wide receiver in the room, what does Brenton Strange being the most impactful of these players look like in the 2024 season?
Yeah, well, I think you got to use, and I want to see Brenton Strange. I think he's an interesting athlete, big guy, bigger than we thought. I remember when we were standing, he first came out, like, wow, he's a pretty thick dude. pretty muscular build, can get down the field. I think he's physical. He's got the right attitude. I'd like to see him. Look, Ingram's the number one guy, no doubt. But to spell Ingram or to have him on the field with Ingram, I want to see. I know this sounds crazy. People might be like, no, but maybe like a use check out in San Fran.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of role. Maybe not as much fullback, but utilized in certain situations, especially if you're going to get to those 3rd and 1, man. Put him back there. He's a 245-pound guy. That's big enough to at least get some, thumping inside on that linebacker that you're going to need. So I'd like to see Brenton Strange get a role like that.
Yeah, and Dempsey, I guess, what would Brenton Strange impact have to look like if Ingram is healthy for the entire 2024 season? What would he have to do? Second-year tight end. They did invest a second-round pick in him. What would have to happen for him to be the most impactful of the guys that we included in the poll today, in your mind?
The other 3 guys get hurt. I don't see any way he's the most impactful guy if Evan Ingram's healthy. I just don't. I mean, it's great if he does his role and he's a good blocking tight end, and as Tom said, maybe he lines up kind of an H-back hybrid type thing. But, I mean, Tank Bigsby, presuming they all stay healthy, maybe Walker Little doesn't play much, right? And I can understand why you would put Strange ahead of him, but Duvernay and Bigsby are going to have big roles on this team, or we anticipate they'll have big roles on this team. I can't see a large pass-catching role for Brenton Strange unless you have either injury to Ingram, injury to Kirk, where maybe he can pick up some of those kind of slot area receptions. I don't know, Tone. I don't know if there's a path to that level of relevance for him if Ingram's healthy.
I know my vote would go to Devin Duvernay. In the poll that we got up there this morning, it is Tank Bigsby leading the way right now with 38% of the vote, approaching 250 votes here this morning. Duvernay second with 28.2%. Walker Little third with 22.2%. And Brenton Strange at the bottom of the list, but still 11.5% isn't nothing, right? It does feel like there is some portion of the fan base that is foreseeing whatever his role as the blocker is going to be, maybe just second-round pick. They got to feature him more somehow. I think that's what a lot of the people that would vote him would be counting on in the poll here this morning as we react to the poll, and we send it over to Mike Dempsey for a 10-10 take.
10-10
take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take, brought to you by Leonard Truck Accessories.
I think it is interesting looking at the results that Walker Little's pulling 22% when there's no clear path to him playing unless there's an injury. Now, Cam missed 8 games last year, and Walker Little has shown the flexibility to play a few different positions. So you can certainly say you can expect somebody to probably miss some time, and he's going to have to fill in. To me, it came down to Bigsby and Duvernay, and I voted for Devin Duvernay here because the guy is an all-pro at what he does. And we've talked, Tony, how much this changing rule on kickoffs could alter the NFL landscape in ways that are hard to foresee right now. Well, you've got arguably the best return man in the game. Arguably. I mean, certainly one of the best. And can he make any kind of a Jamal Agnew-like impact on offense? If he can do that, even if he just makes a special teams impact, and he's a threat, he makes a couple of big returns, he forces other kickers to kick it into the end zone so the Jags are starting at the 30. That's an impact as well. I think Duvernay is going to have a significant one on this team. As long as he stays healthy, I would have him edging out Tank Bigsby in this category.
Makes sense. I voted the same way on the poll this morning. And before we get out of here, let's wrap it up here on Jaguars Today.
Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
All right, a couple of items here. One, we didn't really even talk much about. It just became official in the last few minutes. Jags sending out a press release. Mason Smith is in the fold, which is more a reflection of where things are now with the rookie salary structure, that you don't make a big deal. These guys are all going to get signed by training camp, but happy to have Mason Smith in there. So let's get Brian Thomas Jr. done, and let's get this class ready to go and hit the ground running. Following up on some of the comments from yesterday with Phil Rauscher, Tone, again, optimistic about an improved offensive line. This has been a theme of the offseason for me, and I think you as well. Just where is internal improvement coming from this team. It's not just the new pieces that you add. It's the existing pieces, the returning ones. Talked a lot about Tank Bigsby today. Got to forget that rookie season. He's an example of that internal improvement that needs to come. And if you get that, particularly at the quarterback spot, this team could take a big leap forward. And then, look, the theme here, this is Tom McManus Day on the program. What do we really know about this team before they put on the pads? What do we know ever about? But we still want to get excited about the new personnel and the hope and the potential. And I'm not going to stop getting excited. But we understand that no matter how many times, as Tony, you pointed out, you can see Brian Thomas running 40 yards behind nobody, because there's literally nobody covering him on a play. It's not reflective of the reality of training camp and the preseason and ultimately the regular season's going to be.
No doubt. And look, we got 7 weeks to get ready for that, right?
Yeah.
Training camp is not that far away. These guys have the mandatory minicamp coming up next week, so we'll react to whatever level of whatever.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah.
The expectation is Josh Allen will at least be back in town for the mandatory minicamp.
All right, good.
And that may be the headline of mandatory minicamp is Josh Allen hung out for a few days after doing whatever he's doing on his own to get ready. Certainly worked out for him just fine last year going into the 2023 season. Well, what do you got coming up this weekend, Tommy?
Big dance recital weekend for Nancy Dance Studios. So they got a show, baby shows on Saturday, big long rehearsal day Sunday, big show Monday night down at the Times Union Center. I'm part of the Dad's Dance. 16 of us are pirates, as Peter Pan is the ballet this year. Always a great show, always a great time. We'll be doing that. Tonight I'm hopefully doing nothing. I would like to do nothing other than hang out with my wife and family and eat some food. I think that'll be good.
What do you got coming up this weekend, Pockets?
Got some dude named E.T. wants me to go to the Sharks game, so I'm going to do that and see what that's like.
Yeah. Have you been to one before?
I've been to one, but not with E.T. Being the hype man. It's been a couple of years since I've been.
Well, E.T. is he is walking hype.
No doubt.
Like, there is no doubt about that. Demps, enjoy the week off, my friend.
Staycation, baby.
Yeah.
It's all about the staycation. Yankees-Dodgers weekend. And, Tony, it's maybe 6 weeks of training camp. It's about 3 of those we'll actually see each other. I think, you know what, it's Jaguars Today vacation season coming up as well. But glad I could come back and join you for the last couple of shows. And it's a good timing for me to put the feet up for the next couple.
There you go.
No
buddy.
doubt about
Feel
it,
better.
man. Get
Thanks, guys.
all better, and we'll talk to you here in about 10 days. That'll do it for us here on Jaguars Today. For Mike Dempsey, for Tom McManus, for Dylan Denmark, I'm Tony Smith. Helmets and Heels coming up next here on 1010 XL.
Jaguars Today Friday
is brought to you by
CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living from the JOI Studios at 1010 XL, where the pros go.
You have heard